Hey everyone, welcome back to the Red Life channel. I wanted to take this video to talk about my favorite masks. So if you're anyone like me, during this pandemic, you've been using this time to work on yourself, and that can be in multiple different ways. For me, one part of that has been focusing on my skincare and having some kind of a routine. So I like to use my Sundays as my self-care Sunday, if you want to call it that. So that is usually my way of starting my week off right and making sure that I feel relaxed and ready to take on Monday morning. So on Sunday nights, I'll usually, journal, relax, put my phone away for a little bit, and then I'll put a face mask on as well as a hair mask, which I've talked about in one of my other videos, the coconut oil hair mask. So for my face mask, there's 3 that I have loved currently, so I wanted to talk about those. The first one I want to talk about are these Origins face masks. The first one is the Clear Improvement Active Charcoal Mask to Clear Pores. So this face mask is a fairly, it's a pretty thick consistency, so you don't really need too much of it. And, you can put it all over your face and just let it sit there. I think the recommended time on here, it just says to allow it to dry. So I usually leave it on 15-20 minutes, not too long, because you'll start to notice that it's hard to talk with it on. It becomes very stiff. And I feel like this mask has really helped me clear up my skin, because like it says on there, it clears your pores. And I notice, if I'm like doing something and I have makeup on like I do today, and once I take all that makeup off, if there's still a little bit in my pores, this is a perfect way to kind of clear that out. So I picked up this small 1.7 fluid ounce, so I thought that was perfect for me to kind of get an idea, and this would definitely be one that I'll be purchasing again. The other one by Origins is the Retexturizing mask with rose clay. So first of all, you guys, the smell of this, it smells very, very good. And if you have any kind of rose water or something, that really pairs well with this, once you kind of take it off, because it has that rose scent in it. So this one's interesting. It has some kind of an exfoliating texture to it. What I like to do with this one is I'll put it on the same way, let it sit there till it kind of dries there. So what I like to do is when I'm taking it off, I will take some water on my hands, and I will usually kind of, like you would a cleanser in a circular motion, just kind of try to scrub it off that way, so it adds that additional exfoliation towards the end. And you need a really thin layer of this, and it says to leave it on for 10 minutes, so it's really not meant to be left on too long, similar to this one. The other thing I will say too is I noticed that sometimes around my nose, this one starts to kind of, it feels like it's leaving some residue behind, so I try to make sure I get really everything off from especially my nose area, where I notice that I'll start to break out if I don't get every little bit of this off. So yeah, so these are my 2 favorites from Origins, I would say. Here is another view at that one. So the next mask I want to talk about is probably my favorite out of these, is the Caudalie Moisturizing mask. So recently I have realized that I think I always used to go for products that would kind of be oil free, or they would, the goal of them was to get oil out of my skin, because I've always had acne prone skin, oily in my T-zone. And so I've realized over the years that really what I have is combination skin. It's not as oily as I thought it was, and I also don't, pick up things that are meant for acne, are meant to strip your skin of oils for acne. So I love this mask. It is so moisturizing, like it says. I seriously don't think that I have found anything quite as moisturizing, even with the Origins ones, like the rose one especially. This one, it's a different consistency, and it smells lovely too. So I love that as well. So this brand is actually based out of, it's a French company. So I found this one at Sephora as well. And I think that for this one, there's a couple different ways you can use it. I was doing a little bit of research online. You can use it, you know, like a regular mask, leave it on for 15 minutes, wash it off, call it a day. You can also put it on overnight, which is kind of interesting, and then you can kind of use it as a spot treatment to kind of focus on the areas where, you know, you feel like the most dry. So for me, that's definitely not the T-zone. It would probably be like my cheeks, my chin, my jaw area, and kind of my little bit of my forehead towards the corner. So this one can be used twice a week to face and, you know, kind of like avoiding your eye area, so a little bit under that. And then it contains grape oil, which this brand is actually known for. They incorporate a lot of grape and, you know, grape oil ingredients that involve grapes into their products. So that's one thing that is very unique about this brand. I have found my skin to be so much softer the next day, and just even after leaving it on. And I know it says on here 15 minutes, but I have found myself to leave it on for even 30-45 minutes sometimes. Just, you know, if I'm like really into an episode of TV or something, I won't even realize how long it's been. So with this one, it's pretty creamy, so you'll notice it won't dry, which is really interesting as a face mask, because I think for most face masks, especially the Origins ones that I talked about, you know, you kind of notice them getting a little bit like dry and like stiffer on your skin. This one is very creamy, and you'll notice that as soon as you put it on. So don't be alarmed if it doesn't dry on your skin like you would think a normal face mask would. This is probably one of my favorites though, to be honest, because I have realized that I really need to like hydrate my skin more. And you know, one of those ways is obviously drinking water and making sure you're constantly drinking fluids, but another way is great products like this, where they really help with kind of nourishing your skin with hydration. So I love that. Well, thank you for watching my video. I hope you learned a little bit, and if you're in the market or looking for some new face masks, I hope that you found one that you'll like. Please comment, like, and subscribe below, and I will be posting new videos down the road, and I am looking forward to talking more to you guys. Thanks.